Welcome. My name is Sue and I'm a scrap quilter in Southeast Pennsylvania. Um, for those of you who have been with me for a while, I just want to let you know this is not like a normal episode where I kind of showcase what I'm working on. This is kind of a little special episode. And this is all going to be about a quilt show that I recently went to. And the quilt show was held by the Homemakers Country Quilters, and they are out of Skipack, Pennsylvania. So that show was held on Friday and Saturday, and I'll show you a little card in case you want to take a screenshot or zoom into their website and check out what those gals are all about. And the picture that's on here was the raffle quilt that they made, and it's a Civil War reproduction blocks, and it was all hand quilted, and they did have it on display at the show, and it was really gorgeous. It was really nice. And then they also had a couple of members who were sitting right next to this who were also hand quilting on a quilt at the time. So let's get into it. We'll take you on a little tour of the show, and then at the end, I'll show you what I came home with. So enjoy. Here we are at the quilt show. They had the quilts organized in 3 main areas. The first area that you see was the medium-sized quilts. In each area, we were allowed to vote for our favorites. I don't believe this show had any judges because I didn't see any ribbons on the quilts. So it was just the people who go to the show who got to vote for their favorites. This was in a long hallway leading down to a bigger area. Beautiful. I recognize that quilt as a Pat Sloan block that she did for a book about color. Blue and white is always a classic. It looks nice set on point. I like how they put in some blues that were light and some were darker. There's some nice wool applique too. Love the details. This was all hand quilted. This was really gorgeous. I did notice a lot more hand quilting at this show than I've seen at some previous shows, so that's always nice to see. This was a different kind of layout for a storm at sea. I liked it. I liked the movement of it. This one, the woman who made this is just a top. It's not finished. The woman who made the Hexie quilt passed away. Interesting layouts too. That's another reason to go to shows, is to look to see different layouts and color combinations. Feathered star. This was really well done. That's a hard block to make. Yeah, this person did a really nice job. I mean, not to take anything away from anybody else, they were all really nice. Really hard to choose a favorite. Classic red and white, just beautiful. This is a pattern I actually had in my head that I kind of wanted to make that, and then I saw it at the show. This was cute. Chandelier pattern. Nice bright colors. Beautiful. Now these quilts from here, these were in the small quilt category. This was all hand cross-stitched and hand quilted. That black print on there was really effective. I've seen this pattern before in different colors too. It's always nice. This I think was maybe Tilda fabrics. They were really pretty. The bearer, look, he has bear paws for ears. Oh, look, fabric for sale. How can you not help but come home with a few goodies from there? Okay, so let me start off by saying that the show was on Friday and Saturday, and they did have quilters boutique rooms there where you could buy anything, all kinds of, notions, really anything quilting related, threads, fabric, of course, all kinds of fabric, and a whole table full of buttons that were really neat too. So they had 3 rooms like that set up for shoppers. And so Friday and Saturday was the show, but then on Sunday, it was just the boutique rooms that were open. The show was already disassembled. And on Sunday, everything in those boutique rooms was 50% off. So that was a good deal. And it may look like I got a lot because I kind of did. I got way more than I was anticipating. I wasn't even really going to go to the show, to tell you the truth. But Pam talked me into going. It was really a nice show. So the first day I was there, I did go in the boutiques, and they had a lot of great big bins filled with scraps. And they give you a, like a grocery style plastic bag to fill for $2.50. So I did that. I can always find scraps to use. And then in one of the other rooms, they had their fabrics sorted by, like fat quarters, fat eighths, half yards, like that. And so in that room, I spent about $10. So the first day I spent, about $12.50. So that wasn't bad. But then Sunday, everything was 50% off. So I got a little bit more. So Sunday I spent, my grand total was like $27. And the prices at the boutique to begin with are very reasonable. Most of their fabric, I noticed, most but not all, was priced at about $4 a yard. So a fat quarter was like $1. But they weren't all consistent. So I don't know, maybe some of the prices were from the previous shows, years, I don't know. Okay, so let me start off with this. I found very interesting. This is a Q-snap frame. People ask me all the time, what do I use for quilting? And this is what I use, the Q-snap frame. And I don't really care what size it is. This one says 11 by 17 because I'm buying them for these clamps, basically, because the clamps wear out after a while. And so I found it interesting because there are some original prices on the bag. The first one at the top says $13.50. Then there was a price underneath it, $10. And then there's a price underneath that for $6.25. And then somebody put a piece of masking tape on for $3. It's getting cheaper. And then somebody put on a price down here for $2. So I bought this on the 50% day, so I paid $1 for it. I just thought it was interesting to see, how the prices started at $13.50, and I paid $1 for it. So that made me smile. That was good. And then also in that room, I did pick up a just 2 quilting stencils because these were only 25 cents each. So I got a little clamshell. I was kind of thinking maybe more for like borders. This one's kind of small, so I just wasn't sure about doing a whole quilt in something that small. And then this one I really debated on because it is like a larger pattern, but you know, it was 25 cents, so sold. I'll take it for 25 cents and I'll give it a try and see if it works for me or not. And then I got, just a minute. Oh, here's all the fabric I got. So I'll go through some of this. The first day I was there too, I didn't even think about buying any kind of yardage for binding. I don't know why, it just wasn't even in my head that day. So then when we went back on Sunday, that was kind of my focus, is to get things that I could use for binding or yardage, you know, for even if for an outside border on a quilt. I mean, you can go through a yard in the blink of an eye, you know, to put a border on a quilt. So I was looking for bigger pieces then, and they did have some. I got this orange. I don't really use orange a lot, but every once in a while, a pop of color is really nice. And so I got that one. There's a blue in here too that has, here it is. It's the exact same print. For anybody who's out there who is familiar like with 1930s sort of reproductions, you might notice this. It's just a little flower basket with some flowers in. So I'm sure this was from the same line of fabric. And then here are some reds that I got with the intention of using them for binding because they have stripes, which always look nice. And this other red too. This is 3/4 of a yard. I picked that up for, I don't know what, we'll see. That could be a binding too. This one too, this is 3/4 of a yard. And then this is 3 yards. And I thought that'd be great for binding. And for those of you too who just saw, I just finished a Hunter Star quilt that was with blacks and reds. This would have looked nice on that quilt as a binding, but it's too late. That quilt already is bound. So those were, that's what I was thinking when I bought those. And then also on 50% off day, I picked up a few ties. I didn't get many. They did have a box, like a big tote full of ties. These are the ones that I got. Again, I'm just kind of collecting them slowly. I have no idea yet, you know, what kind of project I'm going to do with them. But I was just kind of thinking, I thought maybe I would get some that were lighter in color, or, you know, like this one I thought maybe would pop really well, because it's really easy to find blues and blacks, you know, the darker colors in men's ties. It's not always that easy to find the lighter colors. So, so these were, I paid 50 cents each for these. So these will go in my tie box. And then here's the rest of my haul here. And this one just has a little bit of everything in it. I kind of was looking at yellows this time too, because I also don't use like a lot of yellows, but they really do make a big difference in a quilt if you kind of sprinkle some yellows in a quilt. It just kind of brightens up the whole thing. This is a vintage piece, which I just always love those vintage pieces. And this one, I don't know if that would be called vintage or not, but that's definitely like an older piece of fabric. So those are my yellows. I didn't get a lot of blues this time because I have a lot of blues in my collections. So these are the blues I got. So let's see. And then I have, oh, here's another yellow. And then these are the reds. I got some of these like on my first day that I was there. And I've had this one before and I really liked it. So that's why I picked that one up again. Here's a really pretty vintage piece. This feels like a feed sack material. It's a little bit more coarse and not as tightly woven. And let's see, I picked these up because they reminded me of like shirting materials. They're not, I don't believe they are shirting materials, but they have that look to them. This was a little bag. They had a lot of Ziploc bags too that were full of things. And it's an assortment. You never know what you're going to get. And sometimes the pieces are really odd cuts. But this was 50 cents. So on half off day, I paid 25 cents for it. So I haven't even opened it yet, but I'll pay 25 cents for a bag of fabric. Oh, and here's another piece too. I understand why people pass this by. I don't really know what this is. It kind of feels a little like a sheet, but I'm not sure. I didn't even open it up, to tell you the truth. It has a tag on it. I don't know. It might be like a curtain valance. I mean, it's finished all the way around, but it's just a very pale, you know, pinks and blues. So it's probably something for a baby's room, maybe. But there's a lot of fabric on there. So that I got, that was in the bins where it's fill a bag for $2.50. So that was where that one came from. This is just another assortment bag. And I won't go through all of these individually, but these are just like just a collection of, some of these did come from the fill a bag for $2.50. So some of these smaller pieces, that's where all these came from. Which some of the pieces that were in there, I don't know why people want to get rid of. Like, that's a decent sized piece yet. But it works for me. So when I came home, I just kind of refolded some of these. And I'll put those into color families then. Oh, here's another piece that was a vintage piece that has little lambs frolicking on it. So I think I did pretty good. I mean, I spent total about $40. So, and I haven't gone through at all to kind of figure out how many yards, you know, I have total here. But it's a pretty good deal. So I was really happy with what I got. So we'll see. I can't wait to get into it and start cutting it up. Okay, so I just want to give you like just a teeny bit of an update on what I'm working on right now. I still have my trip around the world quilt that I'm quilting. I should have been done by that already, except a pussycat named Ollie keeps sleeping on it while I'm trying to quilt on it. So it's been a challenge. And the other thing that I've been working on too is I'm making some more of these plus blocks for my quilt. So I have quite a few more of these made. I don't know how many I'll need yet because I don't know how big I want the quilt to be at the end. And I know people have asked me already too about how do you know, how many to make, or, how do you know if you have enough fabric for a project? And I don't always know. I very much just wing it and see where it takes me. And honestly, for a quilt like this is one of the quilts you can just throw everything at this, and in the end it'll come out fine. So you can grab whatever fabrics. Because when you're doing scrap quilts, you're not trying to use the exact same fabrics that came from a bundle. So nothing is going to match on this, so I can throw everything into that. So anyway, I've been working on that, and some of these fabrics came from this bag. I didn't buy this. None of this was mine. My daughter went to the quilt sale with me, and she bought a lot of fabric too. And she lives in a very small place, so storage space for her is really at a premium. So she went home and she sorted through all of her fabrics, and she decided that she could live without some of it. And so this bag came to live at my house, and I've already cut into some of this for these little blocks. It's like, I can't help myself. I have to cut some of it. I have to use some of it. Some of it is like, it's so cute. This one, I really like this one a lot, but I didn't cut this one because it's too big. The print is too big for these tiny little blocks, but I really like that one. So I've been digging through this bag too. It's not mine, but it kind of is. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed the little quilt show and the little bonus episode here, and I'll see you next time. Happy quilting!